Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to put together a standard head pattern like this from scratch. I hope to make my pattern pieces printable for everyone to print, except this size will be a free pattern. I'm going to show you how to put a standard foam head together. What the tools you're going to need is contact cement, scissors, pin, 1/2-inch poly foam, or whatever kind of foam you have lying around your house. This is a nylon fleece, and some felt, and some plastic storage bin. I would not recommend cardboard because the cardboard will break down from the palm of your sweat of your hand. The mouth plate pattern, and a little stand to hold your puppet head there, temporarily. These are the supplies you're going to need. Let's get started. So what you're going to do is take your head pattern like this. Take your head pattern and trace it with a Sharpie like this. Trace it like this. And repeat this process, but flip it over though, so you can flip it upside down. Flip it over and then trace it again. And then you cut this out with scissors. Alright, got the pattern pieces below like this. Mine's kind of like attached together, but if you want to cut it out, it's good. This will save you a whole bunch of gluing. The glue I like to use is contact cement. But you can use hot glue too, but I just like this contact cement. If you use contact cement, you must be in a well-ventilated area, because the fumes are not healthy. Or you have to use a respirator because the fumes are not healthy. I have a couple of fans going and great ventilation, so I'm all set. And what you do is glue along the darts, the pieces in darts. Glue along the two darts first. Of course, don't glue the mouth yet, or the neck. Do not glue the neck hole or the mouth yet. And then do the bottom chin. And now you gotta let this sit for like for about 10 minutes. Like about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let's move right on to the fleece pattern. Alright, got the fleece out. This is the nylon fleece, always known as Antron fleece. And make sure when tracing out the pattern, make sure your stretch is going across. I've seen some people accidentally forgetting to make sure your stretch is going across, because this is not stretchable, this is stretchable enough. Then when you do that, go ahead and trace the head pattern, and I'm going to use a different colored Sharpie. You trace it, and again, make sure your stretch is going across. Alright, got the pattern sewn. Now, to cut it out, if you're going to be sewing this head on a sewing machine, make sure to leave some seam allowance. Otherwise, if you want to sew it by hand, sew it by hand. But me, I just do it right on the sewing machine. So, I'll be back. Let me get this cut out, and then let me sew it together. Alright, got the fleece pattern all cut out. Now, to pin it, you have to fold it in half and make sure it, because pins really help you do it evenly. Then you start off with the darbs first. You start off with these darbs, pieces and darbs first. Some people don't use pins, but I highly recommend it because it'll keep your puppet evenly sewn. Then repeat this process with the other one. You repeat this process with the other ones. Then after when you pin it, then you take it up to the sewing machine. You take it to the sewing machine. Alright, got these darbs sewn, and then when you get the top darbs sewn up, then carefully like make sure that your puppet's in evenly, and then use the pins and use the safety pins. And do not stitch the neck hole shut, and do not stitch the mouth shut. And then after when you get these all pinned up, then take it straight to the sewing machine. Alright, got the whole head stitched up. As you can see, I left like a 1/4 inches open. That'll make it easy for me to turn inside out. Now let's go back to the foam and see how it's doing. Alright, when it gets tacky, then you carefully close these two darbs together. That way the glue can secure them. Then do the chin. Then you do the top seams. And then your head is completely even up and glued. Place it in the stand. Now I already got this fleece pattern done. I'll just set this off to the side, and now I'll show you the best method for making fabric mouth plate. You can use felt or velvet. You can use either felt or velvet. Today I'm using felt. Then what you do is you simply go ahead and, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. And you go ahead and again, for this process, make sure you leave some seam allowance. If you're going to be stitching it up on the sewing machine, and make sure to mark which one's top and bottom. And you go ahead and cut it out, and then pin it to your foam head. And you go ahead and pin it to your foam head. Alright, got the mouth sewn. As you can see, it left a pretty good lip line if you stitch it up on a sewing machine, which I highly recommend doing. As I mentioned before in my last tutorial, I don't know how to hand sew, so I just machine sew them or glue the pieces together. Now we're going to move on to show you how I use plastic storage bin for. You can use any type of storage bin you like. It's what I only have in stock today, so I'll show you how it goes. First thing you do is find the spot you want to use for. You just gotta find the spot where you want. If you have the kit dealing with dark colors of plastic, I would use like a silver Sharpie so that you can see what you're doing, and then make sure you mark which one's top, and you trace it down, and then you repeat this process. Alright, got these two perfect mouth plate pieces. Now what? I have some pretty tight edges, so I just like to touch it up with some sandpaper. And that'll make the glue much easier for it to secure in. And once when you're done sanding them, go ahead and then put some glue around the top of the mouth and the jaw, and then the fabric, and then the plastic mouth plate pieces. And then wait for 10 minutes for it, and then wait for just a minute or so to get tacky, and then wait for it to get tacky. Alright, it's been 10 minutes, so I'm going to show you how I put these mouth plate pieces in together. So at the top, I just carefully make sure it's partially even. Then I squeeze them together, and I repeat this process with the bottom. And then, when you get the pieces all attached up, then I use the glue for the top. So that way. And then I put a line of glue along the fabric lip line. Then I wait 10 minutes for that to get tacky before I attach them together. Alright, feels like waited long enough. This neck hole is a little bit small for my palm of my hand, so I'm just gonna cut it to like where my hand. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I'm gonna trace this very quickly I'm gonna trace this really quickly and transfer that to my pattern, so that way I can know. Alright, got my pattern piece all fixed up. Next, what I do is I carefully line up the top head and make sure you don't mix up which one's top and bottom. Then I close the mouth up and pretend like I'm performing it. It may take a little bit of wrestling, but get the whole head in there. it may like take a little bit of wrestling. Make sure that you don't avoid any wrinkles. Then you have a nice solid puppet head. Oh yeah! Next, I'm going to stitch up this, and then I'm going to show you how to make the neck for this guy. How I make puppet necks. So, I'll be back in a sec. Alright, got the neck, got my seam all sewn up. Now, what I do is, I use the same fleece as previously before. Again, make sure your stretch is going across. Then what I do is I drape it. I just simply go ahead and drape. I go ahead and drape a pattern using, then I draw where I need to stop and cut. Then I do the same thing here for the back. Sometimes it can take a little bit of wrestling to figure out where. Then I draw it right here. Then I cut it out to how long I want it to be. I want it to be like about about 5 inches. I want it to be like about 5 inches. Or 6.5 inches, I mean. Then I go ahead and draw another line. Then I cut it out and then sew it on the sewing machine. Once when you're done, then you go ahead and turn it inside out. And now I sew this by machine, so when sewing this, make sure you tuck the seams in word like this. And then I take it up and try to sew it on the sewing machine. Now I'm going to sew it up on the sewing machine. And here it is. The neck all sewn and the head sewn. And then this is how you do a standard size puppet head from scratch. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make a foam body for your puppet. That's all for now. See you next time.